Hi, I'm Matt, here in Michigan.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. Today, Matt and I are bringing you guys something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a foreign film. 2020's Coven of Sisters recently came out and can be streamed on Netflix in the United States. Now, I'm going to apologize for mispronouncing these names, which I'm about to try and pronounce, but I'm trying my best. We have a lead actress of Amelie Abersturi and Alex Brendamul. It is written and directed by Pablo Aguirre, I think. Spanish is not my strong suit. Foreign languages aren't my strong suit, in fact. But before we get into the review, if you like this sort of review, noting that this is a little bit different, make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon if you always want to see when we're uploading.
In Coven of Sisters, a group of young women are imprisoned in Basque country in northern Spain in the 1600s and are accused of being witches. While in prison, they come up with a plan to delay their executions long enough to get rescued. Now, Coven of Sisters has received multiple awards in Spain. In the US so far has received average or slightly above average reviews from both critics and audiences. Randall, we just checked out Coven of Sisters. What do you think about it?
You know what? My hot take of it is that I actually liked this movie quite a bit. I did not know much about it going in. I was just scrolling through new releases on Netflix and said, hey, that's an interesting title. And then I found out it was a foreign film. I'm like, hey, we haven't really done a foreign film. Let's do that. I genuinely mostly liked this film. Thought it was pretty good. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I like that you said, interesting title. I mean, that's the one main word I use for the film. I found this film interesting. I was engaged throughout pretty much from start to finish. I think the actors in this movie did a pretty decent job.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the fact that there's only two, in my mind, main leads that I've already pointed out kind of gets away from the fact that there is this other group of women that are doing a very good job playing their roles as, supporting actresses. And then you also have the supporting on the other side, I would say the male side of the spectrum at their trial. All the actors and actresses do a great job in this, and what my terminology for it is was not necessarily interesting, was that it's a film with a very simple premise, but an absolutely complex amount of dynamics going on.
And it's interesting too because our female lead doesn't really, I don't think, come out as like the lead until a little bit into the movie, maybe about the middle or so. Because this movie does a real good job of establishing these characters. I mean, even like the opening scene, you get the judge or whatever you want to say, the honors, you know, his drives or what he's going to be doing this film right at the beginning. I mean, we start with accused witches being burned at the stake and stuff, and he's basically telling why he's doing this kind of thing, and then we get to meet this group of young women and stuff, and right off the bat we see like their dynamic with each other and basically just show kind of what they mean to each other, and then we get to see that strengthened and then also tested as well. I think this movie does a really good job of that.
Yeah, and we had mentioned that it's just this really interesting title, Coven of Sisters, and really that's what it ends up being. With getting into maybe just a little bit of spoiler territory, if the title was Coven of Witches, it would be completely different. There's a reason that the title is Coven of Sisters, and that plays out throughout this film as you see each of them having to go through their own, trials and tribulations before our main character kind of steps up and says, all right, I'm going to try and save all these other women, basically. I'm going to do my best to stall and wait and to the point where we can potentially be rescued by the sailors that are coming home, because this is kind of a coastal area and all of the men from this village are gone off doing fishing stuff. They're just waiting for the tide to come back in, trying to buy time. And that's where the movie really starts picking up, because you get this kind of back and forth between the judge, which again the honor, and the main character here, Anna's, and she just does this great job of stringing him along, trying to get to a point where someone will come rescue them. And that's where, for me, I love that back and forth, that kind of chess game between the two. I kind of wrote it down honestly as a very intelligent woman leading a not so intelligent man astray.
In this movie, there's no inclination at the beginning at all that these young women are witches all. I mean, they're getting taken in. You're kind of like, oh, you're being, falsely accused by someone that's on a witch hunt, for lack of a better term to use.
Oh, that's the right
It's
term.
the right term. But you're talking about kind of like that back and forth. He does that little testing out with each of the women separately. And the only time that we're really getting kind of like that kind of, maybe in question, like, well, are they witches kind of thing, is based from the women themselves, trying to see, that distrust in each other. And they kind of turn on each other a little bit in this middle of the film, which I think gives you just a enough of a, hey, do I really know what's going on kind of thing. Like, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on in this movie, but do I really know what's going on? And I think that's a good thing to kind of like latch you on to give you like a little bit of extra interest and intrigue as we head to the end of the movie.
Yeah, and I don't want to give away the end at all, because that's kind of the you kind of watch this movie to get to the end and see what happens. So you just have to know that, like, it gives you enough to be like, hey, maybe we are talking, like, is it going to break that one of them is actually a witch? Is it not going to break that one of them's a witch? And so you have to watch the movie and get to the end to really make that determination. But, like, the movie is clearly talking about a completely different subject. Yes, it's basing it in this, 1609, portion of Spain, but it's really flat out talking about the subjugation of women underneath men. I mean, that's the thing. It is, yes, it's telling a great story about witches and witch hunts and witch trials and all of that, but there is no denying that the entire point of this movie, and it's not even subtext really, it's just right there, is, powerful men keeping smart women down.
Yeah, they're kind of scared by the fact that, when they're going into this town and it's like, hey, there's like no men in this town. This is just, a town completely of women. But yeah, there's that one scene, kind of, like I said, we don't want to really get into spoilers, but it kind of builds up to this one scene near the end of the film. The reason I want to mention it, because it's kind of interesting. I think if you're someone who wasn't watching the rest of the movie and then just came in on that one scene, you would think this is a completely different movie than
Yes,
the
you
rest.
would.
You'd be like, wow, I came in here. What is it that you're watching? What kind of movie is this? But that doesn't mean that scene or whatever is out of place in this movie. This movie builds up to that scene, and especially, after we have that scene, we have our ending, and I think the ending is well earned. It's something I think it was hinted to a bit in this movie, so I don't think it's something that, just comes out of left field.
Yeah, without a doubt, that scene, the climax of this film, is something much different from the rest of the film, but while at the same time completely working for this film. I loved the portrayals, and it was interesting because the story that our main character was telling and weaving for everything that was going on was taken from real bits and pieces of her friends. So that way, when they get to the climax and they have this thing, no one stands out as not being able to do their role, more or less, or their part, because everything that she was telling, the honor was in some part true. It was like, hey, this person does know how to do X, Y, or Z, and so at the end they can actually play the parts that they're intended to play, I guess.
Yeah, I think this movie does, real good job. Like we were kind of going on with all of basically the actors, not just our two leads and stuff. I think what helps this movie really work is that we actually, feel for especially this group of women and stuff, because of the horrible way that they're treated and stuff throughout this film. Really endears you to the different characters, and I think it's good. They're not just like this group that are all, a collection of the same person. We all have, their different personalities and stuff, and I think that really shows out in this film and their different way about thinking about things. And really, the strength too of them is like when they, come together and try to work together in this film. I think that was probably my favorite aspect of this film.
Definitely, if you haven't checked out Coven of Witches, I absolutely recommend it. It's a foreign language film, so if you're not into foreign language films, maybe it's not for you. But if you can stomach that, or if you kind of like stuff like Amelie or Pan's Labyrinth previously, this is something that, go to Netflix and give it a watch. It's an interesting, different kind of movie to watch, and I'm super happy that I was able to check it out just because I saw the title and thought, that'd be interesting.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with Randall. I definitely recommend this movie just to like check out. Like Randall says, it's not going to be for everyone, especially if you aren't into foreign films or reading subtitles. Though it sounds like dub version in English might be coming out in April, so that's up to
Oh,
you
it's
if you
already
want to
dubbed.
dub. Is it dubbed
You
already?
can get a dubbed one in English on Netflix.
There you go. So there you go. Well, let us know what you think about Coven of Sisters if you've seen it. Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out all of our videos on our YouTube page. We got new movies, we got flashback videos. We also look at TV shows as well. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook page. We post a day before our videos come out to let you know the topic of our next video. Our new videos come out every Monday and Thursday. For now, I'm Matt here in Michigan. Have a good day.
And I'm Randall here in Texas. I will see everyone next time.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.